Is tourism in the Drakensberg dying? We speak to Megan Bedingham of the Cavern, a popular Berg resort. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What is the biggest threat to tourism in the Drakensberg at the moment?
So I would say that the greatest threat at this stage is infrastructure, access roads to the Drakensberg region itself, and then also the roads linking tourism businesses within the region. There are more and more potholes. We have problems with culverts being washed out, the roads that have subsided, and this is a great threat to tourism, particularly in the Drakensberg. And also the message, I think, just generally for KZN is very negative at the moment. There are issues with the beaches, and that unfortunately affects the whole province. We do see drops in occupancies. We have actually seen drops in occupancies this December. And it's really important that these issues are addressed and highlighted in the area.
Can you give us examples of vital roads that have not been repaired?
So the R74 is a really important road. It links the Free State with KZN, but it also is our access to Gauteng. It also is the alternate route to the N3 toll concession road, the road that links Durban and Johannesburg. And, if that road's ever closed, then the R74 is where people have to go. And there have been washaways on that road. There has been a section that has subsided. If I look at our own little road that comes into our resort on the D119, we've had a culvert that has washed away. It's been being promised to be fixed for 3 years, and we have seen no progress whatsoever. So it is of great concern to the business community. It's a problem because it's the rural spaces, tourism provides many jobs, and it's important that we have good access roads so that tourism will always in the area will always be, strong and good.
What feedback have you been getting from international tour operators?
So I think when access roads are not good, people are worried about having blowouts and being stranded on the sides of roads. And while we have seen a little bit of assistance with fixing potholes, it just doesn't portray a very good image if somebody has a bad experience. And that's what they remember. That's what they take back to their agents and their tour operators. Just our business, we had a lovely group of hikers that came to us from the UK. And after COVID, before COVID, we would probably get 7 to 10 groups in a year. They would normally stay 5 to 7 nights. So really good booking for us. And after COVID and all the problems that we've had with the roads, the tour operator came out and just said, well, we can't come to you anymore because of the access, actually not to our resort, but to the other resort that they visited. It was just too bad. And so they cancelled all their bookings. And, this will happen time and time again unless roads are made a priority and access is a priority.
And what are local tour operators telling you?
Well, local business, we get a lot of domestic travel to the Drakensberg, Durban and Johannesburg, both, we have business coming from both of those regions. And one of the greatest things is people, coming with bicycles or towing caravans, and then these caravans bounce, or the bicycle trailers bounce, and then there's damage. And that's what people remember. It was tough to go into the Drakensberg, and so they will choose different destinations. And local agents, will use places where access roads are good, and they feel that their clients are going to be safe. They don't want to be promoting spaces where they are concerned about roads. And I think what is important just as a business community, what we try to do, because obviously it is, the roads aren't in a great state, but we try to send out warnings to all of our clients that are traveling. We try and make sure that they use apps like Waze so that they know when to expect issues on the roads. But I think that what we would really value is to see some work being done by government and making some improvements, because it's important for communities.
And whom have you all turned to for help in government?
Well, we've lobbied quite strongly, I think, to government. We've tried to work through our local tourism committees, and even the local tourism committees have tried to talk to, political parties. We've had our local municipality tries to help out as much as they can. the Department of Transport provincially doesn't seem to be able to have the capacity to roll out all the jobs that they promised to do. Our disaster management team, they're quite aware of the issues that are in the area. We've even approached the MEC's office. We have spoken to Tourism KZN. They've also tried from their side to get some action, but we just don't see anything really happening. We even had a visit from the Portfolio Committee from Parliament. So that was in April 2022. We spent a full day with them, with all concerned, taxi owners, business operators, community members. We engaged. We went through all the different roads and regions in the area, highlighted everything. And then I think in about September 2022, a contract was awarded to fix the R74 and to complete that culvert. And we were all quite, sort of thrilled, and we thought, at last something was going to happen. And now we sit, February 2024, and that the job that was awarded stands still. There's a stop and go, but no work is happening. And so it seems that the provincial government who's in charge of the R74, they aren't able to make it happen. And in the meanwhile, tourism businesses, and I think even businesses in the region, are suffering because it affects farming. It even just affects people taking a different route and, stopping at a garage in Bergville and buying a Coca-Cola. The knock-on effects to not having good infrastructure are huge, and it's sad, actually.
So with the lack of support from government, are you literally in fear that tourism in the Drakensberg is dying and that you could one day see your business having to be closed?
Well, I think that South Africans are strong and resilient, and I think that we come together when there are problems, and that is kind of what makes it great, and that's what makes living in KZN even great. And our business community and all the resorts in our area actually got together and fixed, with a little bit of help from the Department of Transport. They gave us the machinery. We had to help to pay for all the diesel and get some labour in to help as well. But we, the business community got together. They fixed one of the washaways at the just below Little Switzerland Hotel, actually, where the road has collapsed. And they built it up. And even in the last season, before December, went back again and did it. And that's what we do. We're resilient. We've had this culvert washaway close to our resort. We've made a temporary measure now. We've ordered all the material. We'll have to fix it ourselves. We don't rely on government, where there are smaller jobs, but it's actually the greater region that is of concern. Occupancies in December this last year, if you look at the Midlands and the Drakensberg area, they've dropped to 56% for December. December 2022 was 62%. That's over a 6% decline in December, which should be a lovely busy time, which would normally carry businesses through, the second half of January and February when things do get quieter. So what happens is that, people end up having to, employ staff for shorter periods of time because they aren't so busy. And the knock-on effect is that communities then are, that they are the ones that are at risk, because they are often, helping more than just their own family, but the extended families as well.
Yes, I was just going to ask you what impact this has had on employment in the area. So obviously that is already being adversely affected.
Yeah, no, it is adversely affected. And, we while everybody tries their best to keep it going, we do actually rely on government to assist and to make a difference and to be aware of rural communities particularly. And I think that while we're seeing great roadworks happening on the N3, sort of between Durban and Pietermaritzburg, and there's lots of building going on, I think that, what needs to happen is to look at these important links like the R74 that, work for people in this region, but also linking us to Johannesburg and being the alternate route. And I think maybe it's something that needs to be addressed. Maybe SANRAL needs to take over these major routes that are alternate routes to the N3 and the national roads, and help to keep them in good condition. And I think that that's also, it's important, the the workmanship that we see sometimes, is a little bit shoddy. Sometimes potholes are repaired and they're very bumpy, and that doesn't help either. We need to have really good infrastructure, which we should have and we can have.
So you're saying it's up to government now to save tourism in the Drakensberg?
Yeah, I think it is up to government to help us. We try and do our best on this side, and we sort of appeal to them to help us to do what needs to be done to make sure that businesses survive and that tourism thrives, because communities need it.
Thank you. That was Megan Bedingham of the Cavern, a popular Berg resort, speaking to BizNews about the dire state of tourism in the Drakensberg.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.